Hey guys, and welcome back to another monster video. I know it's been a little bit since Monster Madness. I was definitely a little bit burned out. There was a lot of videos included in that, but I'm going to try to be getting back into it soon with some more versus videos. Before that, I wanted to do a video talking about potential Godzilla x Kong sequel ideas. Obviously, there are unlimited options for what they could do with this universe. Fortunately, the last movie made over $500 million, was the highest grossing movie yet, so obviously people know, these producers know that people want to see these movies now. But in this video, I'm going to be going over 5 of my potential sequel ideas that I want to see for this universe. And let's start out with the first one. The first one is a Scar King origin story movie. Now, Scar King was a villain that I really liked, thought he was awesome in Godzilla x Kong, thought he had one of the best intros ever, and has some really cool fight scenes. While I wish they would have had more of him, introduced him sooner, and maybe had him be a little bit more powerful, I still think he was one of the best villains, most expressive. In the MonsterVerse, he's probably my favorite villain yet. So I really hope they do an origin story showing where he came from, how he got the weapon, the whip slash, the crystal to control Shimo, how he captured Shimo, and just so much about the origin story, and mainly the war he had with Godzilla, in which he trapped them in Hollow Earth. I'd love to see everything about that, more expansion into Hollow Earth, and just the history of the MonsterVerse. They could have plenty of Easter eggs in there, and you could even have Scar King be, like, maybe in his prime in the previous video, where he's bigger, stronger, an actual physical threat. You could go so many different routes with this, and I'd be so interested to see it. And this is why it's my first sequel idea for Godzilla x Kong. So the next idea I have is a Kong and Zuko team-up movie. Now, I've seen from certain comments from a lot of people that say they're tired of Kong and they don't want a Kong-centered movie. Maybe this is the minority, I'm not sure, but I think Kong is a great character. I think he's done a great job leading these movies. He's a very relatable, likable character, much more so than probably the other Titans in the movies. I think he's definitely more relatable. He's a great character. To say that about a CGI character is definitely saying something. Is a great character. And I'd love to see the kind of relationship between Kong and Zuko continue. It's kind of a father-son relationship. And I'd love to see Zuko either slightly grown up or even an adult in the next movie. To see Kong and Zuko fighting a threat together, exploring Hollow Earth, having a lot of expansion of the universe. Seeing these two team up to take down another threat, I think would be awesome. It would be a smaller scale movie, but there's nothing wrong with that. You don't always have to go bigger. You don't always have to get more monsters and go bigger than the last. You can have a smaller scale movie like this, and it can still be great, and I would still go to see it. And that's another idea for a Godzilla x Kong sequel. Now, the third idea I have is one that I've seen from a lot of people. It has been mentioned a lot, is a Destroya themed movie. And I've seen a lot of people mention that Destroya would come from the Oxygen Destroyer. When that was dropped, it created Destroya, ultimately creating him. And this would also be kind of more Godzilla-centered movie, mainly about Godzilla and Destroya going at it. I think there's a lot of potential. Destroya looks like an amazing monster that would be really cool to see on screen, especially in the MonsterVerse. And to see Destroya created from that appears, and to maybe have him fight other Titans on Earth like Behemoth or even Methuselah, and then have Godzilla step in would be really cool. I do think it needs to be mentioned, though, that I know Godzilla has been challenged, but recently it certainly seems like he is just an unlimited power source. So I think the first time Godzilla and Destroya meet, it needs to be proven right then and there. It needs to be shown, displayed, that Destroya is the biggest threat we've ever seen, or at least is a major competitor to Godzilla in that first fight. Something needs to happen, like he needs to stop Godzilla's atomic breath, he needs to push Godzilla back, something needs to happen to be shown, like this is a different kind of threat, this is going to require probably more monsters to take him down, and that Destroya is a major problem to be dealt with. But no doubt, I want to see Destroya on screen, and this story is pretty much already set up. It's probably the most likely, but it's definitely a cool idea, and I hope to see this in the future. Now, the fourth idea is a Bolante-centered movie, mainly where Bolante is just the villain. I've seen a lot of pictures. This looks like a very cool Titan. Looks like a Titan that would probably require a lot of different monsters to take down. Would be a massive threat, probably at the same level, if not higher, than Destroya, probably higher than King Ghidorah. Is a monster that I'm not sure how you could really set this up. You could have this appear pretty much anywhere. You could have Bolante even come out of Hollow Earth. You could have him start in Hollow Earth and just already be a creature that exists. You could have the Kongs try to deal with him. They have issues. They have to recruit Godzilla. There's unlimited options, but either way, it'd be cool to see Bolante appear in the universe. I think the CGI, the effects would be so awesome on this monster. Just to see him appear and to have what I've seen from him, to see that in the MonsterVerse would be beyond epic. Seeing a lot of different monsters that we know going up against him to try to take him down would be no doubt a great idea. I really hope we get to see Bolante at some point, at least in some kind of teaser, but no doubt I want to see Bolante eventually in this universe, and that is the fourth idea, sequel idea for Godzilla x Kong. Now, the fifth and final idea I have for a Godzilla x Kong sequel, even though there are obviously unlimited options, is a movie that I would title War for Hollow Earth. That's what I would title this, because basically my idea is, we know it's now Kong, Suko, Shimo, and the other Kongs, and we know that Shimo, Suko, and these other Kongs have a lot to owe Kong. So Kong is not necessarily in charge, I'm not sure. Obviously, he saved all of them, he freed all of them from Scar King's rule, so they all owe him something. So inevitably, you might have some of Scar King's followers still not following the rules and revolting, but for the most part, these monsters owe Kong, so they really are one. So I think it'd be really cool to see a movie where Kong and these characters explore more of Hollow Earth. They discover either one other big threat or another threat that has another army that inevitably ends up in a war where you see all of these monsters just throwing down. And I know I said earlier that you don't always have to go bigger with these movies. You don't always have to go bigger scale. But if you are going to go bigger and you are going to go all out, you might as well go all out and just have all these monsters fighting. You could have Kong recruit Godzilla and the other Titans from Earth just to all throw down in a Lord of the Rings style fight. I think it'd be amazing to watch. And at this point, I think these producers, these filmmakers, they know what people want to see. They just want to see monsters fight. Inevitably, you want to go to the theaters to see these monsters fight and throw down. So if you're going to do it, you might as well have all these monsters going at it and just fighting in one big epic fight in Hollow Earth. You could call it War for Hollow Earth. You call it Battle for Hollow Earth, whatever you're going to call it. Just have all these monsters throwing down in one epic scene. And if you did this, there's no doubt I would love every second of it. It'd be awesome to watch. And this is probably my most anticipated idea. Yes, it could get really crazy. It could get out of control. But you know what? At the end of the day, I love seeing monsters fight. So I wouldn't complain. And I really hope they do this eventually. And this is my fifth and final idea, sequel idea for Godzilla x Kong. But yeah, make sure you let me know down below what you think. What sequel ideas do you have in mind? Were they already on this list? Is there anything I didn't mention? Are there any other monsters you want to see return? Make sure you let me know down below, and also give some versus video recommendations. I'm going to be trying to get into that soon. Get back at it with some different versus videos I haven't done yet with creatures from Godzilla x Kong. Going to try to do some MonsterVerse Pacific Rim matchups that we didn't see in Monster Madness. But as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.